Breaking news just into our newsroom. Teachers in Port Angeles are going on strike on Tuesday morning. School started there today, even though teachers are still negotiating a new contract deal. So they don't have a contract. School started today. The union also says a solidarity walk-in is planned for today at every school in the district. Again, teachers in Port Angeles going on strike next Tuesday.
Yeah, school's still up in the air in several districts right now as we begin this new school year. In Seattle, teachers will begin voting on a strike authorization today. It's a several-day vote. Results will be announced, we're told, Tuesday morning next week, a day before the start of school is supposed to begin. And teachers in Kent are still on strike this morning. Class is canceled again, so there are votes on contracts authorizing strikes. The strikes themselves, it can be confusing sometimes.
So we're going to break down how this all works and why it's such a hot button issue right now. Joining us now is Tony Hoff. He's an election expert with Survey and Ballot Systems. Tony, good morning.
Good morning.
Okay, so let's talk about voting with a strike authorization. How does this work? How do they do it?
Well, I think the first thing to mention here is I think there's a lot of macroeconomic factors at play. So first of all, there's a union-friendly administration in the White House, and inflation is impacting the bottom line for employees across the country. So we're seeing votes in several industries, not just education, but also nursing, and into the private sector with Starbucks, Amazon, and Apple all having unionization votes as of late. And I think it's fair to say that social media has changed the way that potential voters are communicating, which has dramatically shifted the way that unions form and also discuss issues compared to decades ago. And also, the rise of digital voting has made a big impact. So union voting now can take place anywhere that the members are, so whether that's at home, at work, or at school.
These teachers' unions are pretty powerful, a lot of members nationwide. What role do these unions play? What role do the teachers play in the eventual outcome of these votes? Is it the teachers' say, really?
Well, that's a great question. So we've seen unions go on strike, teachers' unions in particular, in Columbus and Philadelphia over the past couple of weeks. As you mentioned, the Seattle Education Association is set to vote on a strike authorization this weekend. And what the employees or the teachers in these cases are doing is they're fighting for their rights. And the union helps workers pull together to negotiate and enforce their contract needs. And so the union is helping the employees achieve the benefits that they deem fit for their roles without fear of repercussions from their employer. And, you know, it's fair to say, too, that the unions are not making these decisions lightly. They're utilizing technology like Direct Vote Live or social media to get the feedback from their members as to the issues and benefits that are important to them so that they can make data-driven decisions.
And what does a vote to unionize look like compared to other forms of election here in the U.S.?
Yeah, that's a great question, too. I think it's similar to say that a vote to unionize or a vote to strike is very similar to other votes in the country. You're asking a person to either vote in favor of something or against it. Now, unionization votes, like the ones at Starbucks, those are administered by the NLRB. And so once a union is formed, they can then work with a firm like Survey and Ballot Systems on other votes at the union. So officer elections, bylaw votes, or contracts. And our role isn't ultimately to, it's ultimately to clarify and certify that how the members voted is what's accurately reflected in the results.
Yeah. All right. Tony Hoff is an elections expert with Survey and Ballot Systems, giving us some unique insight this morning. Thanks, Tony, for joining us.
Thank you.